Last week, YAK Gotti became the first and only person to walk away with a jury verdict of not guilty on all charges in the YSL RICO trial. So why the hell is he still in custody? Let's talk about it. All right, so there's kind of a lot to unpack here actually, and I wanted to wait until I got some more information and there was a little more action on the case before I brought it to y'all, and that's what we got today. So two things I want to talk about. First is just the status of his cases, and second is just the broader implications of how we ended up here. So YAK Gotti has two pending cases, possibly a third, but two for certain pending cases out of Fulton County. One of them is possession of contraband, and the other one is an aggravated assault. Both of these cases arise out of his time in jail in Rice Street. None of these relate to any facts or any circumstances or any issues that occurred on the street, which means had he not been arrested on the case that he was found not guilty on, these cases would not exist. The status of these cases: the contraband case is from 2023 and the aggravated assault case is from 2024. Here is my biggest concern with the procedural aspect of this case, of both of these cases. It seems as though there's been a lot of kicking along the bucket because he was in trial. The problem with that is there were huge gaps in the YSL case, which according to what I have looked at on the docket, it appears as though there was weeks at a time where these cases could have been pushed along a little further, and things could have been done in these cases that just kind of wasn't done, specifically during the time of the ex parte meeting. There was about a 6 or 7 week gap where we were just not in court. And this is right in the smack in the middle of these aggravated assault charges. So I'm really just not understanding how there was no progress in this case at all, other than maybe the Fulton County District Attorney's Office waited until after the trial kicked back up to indict him, which brings me to my next point, the actual process of how this happens, right? YAK Gotti gets arrested while he's technically already in custody on these aggravated assault charges, and the same thing happens in the contraband case. And he goes before a judge who decides that there is not enough to proceed on an aggravated assault charge. So he dismisses the aggravated assault charge, or she dismisses the aggravated assault charge and finds that there's only probable cause on a misdemeanor battery. And Fulton County, for reasons I won't say that I don't know, or I don't have an opinion about why, but Fulton County decides that they want to go to a grand jury and see if they can get this case indicted as a felony with a grand jury, which of course they can, because everybody knows how easy it is to get a grand jury to indict someone. So despite the fact that the judge found there was no probable cause, they went back and got a grand jury to indict on aggravated assault. And here we are now with pending aggravated assault charges. Now let's talk about the broader implications of both of these cases, right? We are talking about the Fulton County Jail, aka Rice Street, who the DOJ has just recently came out and said what we all knew, which is that the jail is disgusting, it is infested, it is uninhabitable, and it is dangerous. And what the point that I really, really, really want to make is that we have people in this jail doing basically what they need to survive, because we all know what happens in a jail when you don't defend yourself, when you don't follow the rules. Violence begets more violence, begets more violence, begets more violence. We have a situation where people are in custody trying to survive in circumstances and conditions that the state and the county and the prison system and the jail system has created, and they're now being prosecuted for living within rules that they have absolutely no control over. Now, are there people just committing crimes while in jail? Of course, but there are many, many people being prosecuted for simply trying to survive. And I, of course, find it particularly ironic that YAK Gotti is now being prosecuted on charges that would not exist had he not been arrested for the case that he was just found not guilty on. So the status of the case as it is today is that there is a judicial hold in the aggravated assault case, which is before Judge McBurney. I've heard many positive things about Judge McBurney, and we'll see exactly whether or not those things are true, because Kayla Bumpus, who represents YAK Gotti in the aggravated assault case, has filed an emergency motion for bond. She's also filed an emergency motion for bond in the other case, which is the contraband case. And that case is in front of none other than Judge Paige Whitaker. The bond motions are set to be heard next week, so I expect we will get an answer soon. My opinion on the motion itself is that it was short and concise and sweet and to the point, like I like most of my motions to be, because you never want to play your entire hand in a motion and allow the state the opportunity to know everything that you're going to argue. The motion hit all the important points that it needed to: his current status, the fact that this case would not exist were it not for the case that he was just found not guilty on, the fact that he has a limited criminal history, asterisk on limited criminal history, the fact that the DOJ has just found this place is disgusting and it's violent, and he is at a huge risk of continued violence, including the fact that he was just stabbed a couple weeks ago. Asterisk on the limited criminal history, because the state or the judge cannot use anything related to the YSL trial against YAK Gotti in their arguments or reasoning for granting, denying, or adjusting his bond. He was found not guilty. That case may as well not exist in the eyes of this case, because again, he was found not guilty, and a not guilty by a jury verdict is the strongest indication of innocence you can get, because I have seen 100 times over where the state will dismiss a case and then come back and argue in bond that they dismissed it because, for example, the victim wouldn't cooperate with them, or they were not able to recover X or Y piece of evidence. But a not guilty verdict by a jury is the strongest indicator that this is not a case that this person should have been convicted of. So I expect that he will be granted a bond. Neither of these charges are non-bondable offenses from my understanding. So we should be seeing YAK Gotti soon come outside the doors of Fulton County Jail.